welcome to this video. My name's Emily and this is Peak Knits, and in this video I'm going to be making two jumpers, one for my son, one for my daughter, matching, and I'm going to be making them without a pattern. So I thought it would be fun for this video. It's not so much a how-to because I am not an expert by any means, I just fumble my way through it, but I do have a way that I like to knit without a pattern, and I thought it might be nice to share it in case anyone is interested in knitting without a pattern, and how to get started. I think this is a pretty beginner friendly way to do it. I'm sure it's, there's things wrong with it, but if you're interested, watch along, and this is how I knit a jumper without a pattern. Making my swatch. In the meantime, I've also chosen this jumper. This is what I always do if I'm making something without a pattern. I choose an item that at least has quite a lot of similarities and shape to what I hope to make. So this is one of my son's jumpers. It's about the right size. I want to have a slight dropped shoulder, so when I measure it I'm going to add a little bit on here and here. But what I do is I take all the measurements of this jumper, pretty much that I can think of, especially when I think about how I'm going to make it. So I'm planning on making this by beginning at the back of the neck, casting on and doing short rows. So I'm going to cast on the width of this, but I'm going to begin knitting rows the width of the neckline and picking up until I get to this width and then knitting down till I reach the armhole length that I want. So that's how I'm starting, so I know which measurements I need in order to begin that. And now I've got my measurements in my notebook, I'm going to get my swatch, measure my swatch and work out how many stitches I'm going to need in order to match the measurements for this jumper. So that's how I'm going to get started. I don't usually do the maths the whole jumper at the beginning. I like to just do what I need initially and then cast on, because once I can see it, that really helps me to plan out my next move, as it were. So I'm going to go and finish my swatch now. So I finished my swatch, here it is. I'm really happy with the way it looks and feels and the drape and everything. I'm using 5mm needles for this. And I've made sure to make my swatch big enough that I can comfortably measure 10 centimetres in both directions. So I've done that. So now I know I've got 17 stitches for 10 centimetres that way, and I've got 20 rows for 10 centimetres that way. And now I've got that information, because I know how big I want, how many centimetres I want to cast on. I know how many stitches. I can just do some simple maths and work it out so that I'll be able to cast on. So to start, I've worked out how many stitches it is per 1 centimetre, and then I just take that number and I times it by how many centimetres I want to begin with, which is 18. So that is 30.6. Because I'm using German short rows, however, that's not actually how many stitches I'm going to cast on. That's how many I will start working with before I add them. So I'm now going to work out how many stitches I actually need to cast on. Barcelona this afternoon. My husband conducts a choir that I sing in, and we've got a competition there this week, which is really exciting. Lots of choirs from all around the world will be there, which is great. So I'm just getting my knitting ready to take with me, of course. I've joined in the round now. My round neck did not go as planned. I've not really done that before, and I don't know why. It's really obvious now I've done it. I didn't think it through. I didn't cast on stitches in the middle, so I ended up with a V-neck. I also did some extra because I was paranoid about it being too tight. It's definitely not too tight now. I think it even fits over my head. So it's a little V-neck now, which I'm okay with. I don't want to rip back, so I'm just deciding when I pick up for the neck whether to make it into a round neck and kind of force it, or whether to go with the V-neck and kind of do some decreases and make a little V. Probably will do that. But here it is so far, really liking it. It's looking quite big, but I wanted it to be oversized. So yeah, excited to work on this in Spain. So I've been home from Spain for a few days now. We had a bit of a nightmare travel back. We ended up having to get on 3 planes and then they lost our case. I did have my knitting in my hand luggage, but I didn't have my smaller needles for the ribbing. So I finished the body, and then because I only had my 5mm needles, I decided to start picking up for the sleeve here. I just picked up at a ratio 2 out of 3 stitches, which is quite a common sleeve pickup ratio, I think, and I actually measured it afterwards, which was really lazy, so I was winging it a bit, but it's about what I wanted. And then I've done I knitted for about 8 rows, and then I've decreased every 4 rows by 2 stitches. I'm just doing a right leaning and left leaning, so right leaning at the beginning, so it's kind of got that tapered look. All the decreases are happening underneath here towards each other. So I'm going to knit on that till it gets to the length I want. It's not too much further. I'm happy with the length of the body. Our case arrived yesterday afternoon, so I can actually get on with the ribbing, but now I've started the sleeve, I will finish that first. Okay, finished one sleeve and about to bind off the body. Finished the first jumper. Here it is. I'm pretty happy with it. I had to do the neck twice. It was too tight the first time. It's still a bit tight, but I haven't blocked it yet. I'll wait for my son to make it dirty. Hopefully it'll stretch out a little bit. It still goes on and off okay. I'm going to do a round neck for the next time, or try and do a round neck for the next one, and do a couple of alterations around this front shaping here. But generally I'm quite pleased with it. And it's quite nice to have another go to see if I can get it even better the next time. There we go. Time to get started on the second one. done. So I have finished both jumpers. Here they are. My daughter's ended up with a bit more of a round neck. It's not perfect by any means, but I definitely made some improvements, which is nice. They both really like them. They've both worn them together. They look really cute. They're really cozy, which is great. I learnt loads doing this, made loads of mistakes, which I always do if I'm freehand knitting. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you might feel inspired to give it a go. And I will see you in the next video.